There's almost no average year. We're one of the unique jurisdictions where in the same year we can have drought and flood, and because the system responds and changes that rapidly. So that's something that I'd really want you to be able to try to understand, and that has affected our relationship with the rivers, of course, through time.
Water defines the landscape in Calgary. This is a really good example of what you can see. This is a grassland area for the most part, but where you will see trees is in areas like a north-facing slope. The snow is able to stay just a little bit longer in this part of the landscape. This is a nose hill. That's where you get trees. So the absence of water defines that interesting tension between trees and grassland.
So this is the pipe after we were able to expose it. You can see the guy in the ditch there, and he's got one of our high pressure units that he's kind of cleaning around this so that we can see the extent of the damage. But this pipe, basically, there was some wires that had corroded, and so when it let go, it just blew right out the side. And so we had to go in under those conditions and repair that.
So does that meet something in the pipe?
Yeah, so about 1.2 meters. Yeah.
It's concrete?
It's called it's a pre-stressed concrete cylinder pipe. So it's a combination of concrete. It's got a steel, we call it a steel can or a steel cylinder inside. And then those wires are all pre-tensioned wires that hold it so it can handle the pressure that goes through the system. And what happened in this case is those wires had all corroded, and so there was no strength except for that steel cylinder, and all it took was some sort of pressure change and kablooey.
And to me, a dynamic environment is changing, it's shifting, you have to be flexible. And this says, we're going to control the whole deal.
So we met with the province on site at this particular location, and when we mentioned timber crib walls, they're just like, oh wow, that's great. Like they just love that idea. Like
You can't actually see the bucket from the operator, so he has to have...
Right.
When we think about the region, stormwater management does not abide by municipal boundaries. And so when you head east of Calgary, it's got lots of wetlands, flat rolling hills, but we're encountering right now, or we have been encountering for the last while, an area where water does not actually naturally discharge to the Bow River. And so we need to work with surrounding municipalities to say, so when development occurs, how do we deal with that water?
And I see that here. There's an openness to bring in whatever best practices might present themselves. And
we can talk about these geologic timescales, but there's actually this urgency in this moment in time, I think.
I'm quite amazed that we live in a city where we have a program like this, but a lot of that comes from leadership that is open, understands at some philosophical, ethical level kind of what we're dealing with.
In my part of the business, in the operations and maintenance of the systems, I think we used to think we're doing our best when people don't know we exist. When they don't see us, when they don't hear from us, life is normal, right? So and this whole concept of doing the little things that tweak it enough to start a conversation about what it really takes for that kind of existence to happen was a real eye-opener for me.
Sometimes the most visible big things have the least visibility, and sometimes it's the tiny thing that might changes its meaning over time that has a kind of unexpected temporal visibility to time when you didn't expect it to.